Why has Beijing targeted these individuals in the latest round of sanctions? And what message do you think China is trying to send?
I think China is trying to remind people in Taiwan that China has a range of options to show its displeasure with political leadership in Taiwan or even thought leadership to the extent that people view these five individuals as key opinion leaders. It's a first time to go after talking heads directly. Usually, China has sanctioned politicians, members of the government, for example, ministers. But again, I think China is just showing one, they're going to do this periodically. Two, it's one of their tools, analogous to banning certain imports from Taiwan, for example, is one of their tools. And three, that they're going to continue to do these kinds of things targeted at Taiwan periodically.
What impact will these sanctions have on the individuals involved, and what reaction has there been so far?
Well, usually there's no impact because these people aren't traveling to China. There's the symbolic effect, and of course, people who are usually the target of these sanctions happily go into the media and announce that what an honor it is to be sanctioned from China. Again, this is a bit different because it involves people in private sector. They're not public officials like we saw in the previous rounds. So. But they'll just go on TV and proclaim what an honor it is, and maybe they'll get a few more people watching their TV appearances, at least for these few days. But I think ultimately that effect will wear off.
Of course, this announcement about the sanctions comes just a few days before Taiwan's next president takes office. What can it tell us about how Beijing is going to deal with the Lai administration?
I think it sends the signal that there's a number of policy actions that China can take. They've demonstrated most of those actions in the past. So, whether that's military incursions across the median line in the Taiwan Strait, larger military exercises, import bans on certain Taiwan foods, threatening to end the ECFA, persuading the remaining countries de recognize Taiwan, or sanctioning individuals in Taiwan. So they have the so-called toolbox, and every once in a while they'll reach in and they'll do something. So if they use any of those tools in the coming days again, or in the days after the inauguration, that shouldn't surprise us. Of course, one of the bigger things that is going to occur after the inauguration is China is going to prevent Taiwan again, once again, from participating as an observer in the World Health Assembly later in May.